What if I told you that melodies are just shapes?
Look at these shapes here. Upwards, and there's this, arch shaped, and downwards, and this looks familiar. It kind of looks like a sine wave. So in the first example, this looks like an upward shape, almost like what we saw in my notebook. Before creating shapes, let's choose a key, and I'm in the key of D minor. I'm only going to use 3 notes to demonstrate this example. When making melodies, we have to use basic shapes so that our audience can follow along. In the second example, I'm going to use a downward shape. So far we can follow along, right? Because these shapes are basic. So let's check out the third example. In this example, we have an arch shape, just like this shape. Now we have some basic shapes in our toolkit. What if we start combining them to make it a little bit more interesting? In this example, I have the arc combo. I have an upward shape. I'm gonna repeat it again, upward shape, because you have to make sure you don't confuse the listener, right? And then we have another upward shape, and at the end we have an arc shape. Let's do 2 more examples so we can get this concept in our minds. I have a downward shape, then I make some space, not using those notes, another downward shape, and then an arc shape. And for the third and last example, we have a bigger arc shape. So we go up and down, and we go up, and then we have a mini arc shape. These are just shapes. So we have experimented with basic shapes, and melodies should be basic. They're meant to stick in people's minds, and they need to be simple enough for people to follow along. Melodies. Hopefully this tip will help you, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.